Canon Rumors calls it
a small update of two of the most anticipated cameras coming from Canon.
At least in 2025. Those are their words, not mine. They even admit it.
There's not much here in the way of new information.
Now, I got it. That's refreshingly honest. Kind of like being served a coffee without the cream and sugar. Unless, of course, you like coffee without cream and sugar. But first, please punch that subscribe button. It means an awful lot to us. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Simon, and welcome to the Ordinary Filmmaker, where I sift through all the news and rumor sites so that you don't have to, saving you time for more, how shall we say, important things, like trying to explain to your wife why you need another lens, or in this case, a new camera body. So let's go ahead and dig through the first news item related to, well, that big Canon announcement that was supposed to come in July and then August. Yeah, about that.
We've been told that a planned dealer presentation for new Canon Cinema EOS and EOS products that was scheduled for later this month has been put on hold. We don't believe any delay is going to be related to the tariffs. It could be nothing, and things will just be rescheduled for around the same time.
I guess the same time, a different month. Meeting canceled. No new date. Now, could someone perhaps have double booked the meeting room to rant about the latest camera conspiracy video? You know, the one about the boardroom skit? Potentially, but we've got other sources, well, other publications out there telling us something a little bit different.
There might be a delay in the release of the Canon EOS R6 Mark III, possibly due to pricing adjustments or the ongoing tariff situation, which could push the release into late Q4 or early 2026.
In a way, this isn't a surprise, it's more annoying than anything else. All we have to do is go back to early 2024. The R5 Mark II and the R1 were due to be at least teased around CP+. That didn't happen. Then we were having the announcement in May. And then we had the announcement in July. But the R1 didn't start shipping until mid-November. So fast forward a month later to 2025, we had rumored announcements, expectations from multiple sources from multiple sites of the Sony A7 IV, the A7S IV, the FX3 successor, whichever one we were going to get or both, were due early in 2025. Where are they? 2023? Or sorry, not 2023, Q3 of 2025? Still nowhere to be seen. Same thing with Canon. Things keep getting pushed. Well, I'm not going to beat that dead horse. We're now going to move on and talk about another camera, the Canon EOS R7 Mark II. Thanks to Digital Camera World, they're telling us that it could be Canon's first APS-C censored camera with a stacked sensor and no mechanical shutter. And it also gets 8.5 stops of image stabilization, the same that we see in the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, and a 2.36 million dot EVF. Lovely. No mechanical shutter? Well, that may disappoint anyone that's, well, enjoys shooting with a mechanical shutter, that enjoys that satisfying click. And I got to admit, I've been shooting with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II for, well, a year now. I got to tell you, I've been shooting electronic pretty much that entire time. But I still feel comfortable. I'm old. There's certain things I like to have in their places, and a camera to have a mechanical shutter, it's kind of like going to sleep at night without locking your front doors. Without a mechanical shutter, something just doesn't feel right. It might function perfectly well, as does the R5 Mark II, but it just feels a little bit strange. But anyhow, all of this is impressive kit, giving us a very impressive camera. The expectations that the readout speed will be fast enough that we won't have to have any of that psychedelic rolling shutter from the Mark I, at least when shooting electronic. And 4K video up to 120 frames per second. Digital Camera World isn't the only one that's picking up on that, but no one else is really talking about no mechanical shutter. Well, actually, Canon Rumors is. If true, it points to a much faster readout speed. And over at the new camera, they're claiming that the Canon EOS R7 Mark II will do 4K video up to 120 frames per second in 10-bit. Recording with Canon Log 3, but no Canon Log 2. and a slightly larger form factor than the Mark I. Bigger, faster, more cinematic. Every camera company says that when they've got something that they're excited about, that they want to tell you about, and at least this time it's something, well, worth tuning into. So, what does Canon Rumors think? It's supposed to get a 33 megapixel sensor, stacked sensor, the Digic X image processor, and the Digic accelerator chip. 8.5 stops of image stabilization, and the 2.36 million dot EVF, it's an OLED. 40 frames per second electronic shooting, pre-continuous shooting or pre-capture, and in-camera upscaling. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one either. Canon, if you're listening, and I know you are, just give us a proper pixel shift mode. Copy Sony if you have to. They seem to have mastered it. And in terms of video, well, Canon Rumors is also saying 4K up to 120 frames per second with 10-bit and Canon Log 3, and a larger form factor than the R7. Now, focusing on the video a little bit, one thing I don't know, if it's a 33 megapixel sensor, it should be able to do 7K oversampled 4K. I'd be surprised if Canon does that. There's a whole lot here that we're missing, but it sounds like a decent camera. It's all that other stuff that us pros need that they're kind of leaving out. Will it be a good camera? Yes, sounds great. And it sounds like, as far as all the different sources I've talked about here today, everyone's pretty much on the same page. 4K up to 120, maybe they leave out Canon Log 3, maybe they leave out whether it's 10-bit or not, but no one's talking about Canon Log 2, it's Canon Log 3. Now, either everybody's on the same page and all the sources are telling them the same thing, or they're just reading off each other's spec sheet, which wouldn't be the first time. So, as long as the R7 II is reasonably priced, I might just get one. Canon, tell us it's under $2,400, please. Like $1,899 or $1999 under $2,499? And for the Canon EOS R6 Mark III, it gets a new 24 megapixel sensor, a stacked sensor, with a readout speed between the Canon EOS R1 and the EOS R5 Mark II, which is a polite way of saying faster than one and slower than the other. I know it's not exactly stopwatch material, but I am good at math, so bear with me here. 2.6, 2.8, 2.6, the R1, 2.8 milliseconds on the Canon EOS R1, and I know it's 6.3 milliseconds on the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. That means, let's see, carry the 1, divide by 2. That gives us, wow, that's pretty fast. It's not Sony A9 III fast, but at 4.55 milliseconds, I'm not about to complain. That's not bad for full frame. Eat that, Canon EOS R5 Mark II. Canon Rumors adds that
most out there think that the EOS R7 Mark II and the EOS R6 Mark III will be shipping sometime in early Q4. We think it would be a surprise if the EOS R7 Mark II and the EOS R6 Mark III were announced at the same time.
And for those of you that are more interested in camera lenses than camera bodies, well, we've got something for you as well.
Canon will be announcing between 4 to 6 lenses before the end of 2025. There will probably be a couple of niche lenses announced alongside volume lenses.
So no August announcement then, right? Well, not necessarily, just not what we had thought. Q1 2026? Nah, that's too far away. I'm not saying we won't get announcements then, but it's not like things are stopping. Remember, the whole quote that started this was rather vague, saying that a dealer presentation scheduled for the end of the month had been delayed. I think that both of these cameras will get announced before the end of the first week of November, is up and probably in separate events. However, I'll check with my sources to see if we can get an update soon. But for the TikTok generation, a quick recap. The dealer presentation delay is the only genuine development that we got today. Canon Watch thinks that the R6 Mark III could drift into early 2026. Digital Camera World and the new camera repeat the same R7 Mark II specs with a little bit more polish than Canon Rumors. And Canon Rumors openly says that
there's not much here in the way of new information.
Again, points for honesty. But have you heard anything around the golf course, the water cooler? Well, if so, drop me a note here so I can share it with the audience. You can reach me at simondeyates@gmail.com. And if you are interested in picking up some camera gear from either B&H or Adorama, then please use my product links down below. For transparency, I do get anywhere from 2 to 5% back, and it really does help keep this channel free of those pesky VPN and Squarespace ads. And if you have used my product links in the past, thanks so much. It means an awful lot to me. It's very much appreciated. But that's it for today. Don't just have a good day, or I guess we're right up against a weekend. Don't just have a good weekend, have a great weekend. Thanks so much for watching, subscribing, and being a viewer of this channel. It's very much appreciated.